Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Adam Smith joins me in the fight capital of the world. I'm good, mate.
Oh,
what a surprise!
Look at this service. Look at this service.
Adam's got his own waiter. There you go, sir. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Mr. Barker.
Yeah. There you go, Oscar. Good time.
Thank you, Mr. Barker.
As he is dazzling Darren Baker. Pleasure to.
Cheers, Darren. I feel like you might deserve that. I feel like I'm a bit of a piss taker, really.
I think you deserve it.
Well, you're too kind.
Fourth orange juice of the day, but there we are.
Yeah, here in the fight capital, it was a massive card that we were going to get. It's still a massive card that we're going to get with a couple of twists and turns. We might as well jump straight into the biggest bit of news. Daniel Dubois out, Martin Bakole in. So for those who don't know, in Riyadh, there's probably about 4 or 5 hotels you kind of hop between where everyone's staged. You've got your broadcasters, your fighters and whatnot. I just want to know if you heard anything before that Ring Magazine post, or like most of us, was it that post that kind of informed you about Dubois' potential illness at the time?
I didn't hear anything before the Ring Magazine let us know. And twists and turns, Oscar, is part of fight weeks everywhere through history. However, I don't remember one where 2 pullouts through illness on fight week in major fights has happened. Astonishing, really. I got in on Wednesday, so Josh Padley had already been given the opportunity, and he was here by then. So at 4 days' notice, the electrician from Donny comes in. Fabulous story, having impressed Turkey by beating his man Mark Chamberlain at Wembley. So he gets the call, which I thought was fantastic. It's great. It's life-changing for Josh, not just financially, but puts him on the big stage and with an opportunity to fight a 3-weight world champion, somebody who we believe is potentially the next massive thing in boxing in Shakur Stevenson. And why not? He's undefeated. He's come through in banqueting halls at Ellen Road and Holiday Inns and all sorts. And now he's on the big stage that's Riyadh, on the biggest fight card that's ever been put together. On paper, Oscar, it was, before the sort of alterations. I thought from top to tail it was the greatest I've seen. Obviously there's been moves, there's been difficulties, it's been a bumpy week, but yesterday was so exciting, wasn't it? It was obviously very sad for Daniel that he couldn't fight. I know how hard he's trained for it. Reading some of the stuff online, the comments about, has he pulled out? It's ludicrous. This is a guy that sort of went through AJ at Wembley in front of nearly 100,000 people. He's got his absolute self-determination and belief back in him alongside Don Charles, and he fully believed he would destroy Joseph Parker. And looked, I hear, very good in training on Wednesday night. So obviously got a fever, got ill, can't fight. Absolutely right. Health has to come first. It's gutting for him in his camp, financially, mentally as well. There's a lot of sadness there, and our hearts go out to Daniel and his team. But you can't fight if you're not well. You can't fight defending your title or a 6-rounder. Boxers shouldn't be in a ring if they're not fit to fight, and the doctors and the British board have got to make that call, and we've all got to abide by it. This is a very dangerous sport, as we've seen in recent times, and we have to get it right. So it was the right call. Unfortunate, obviously, for the promotion. But then, within minutes, to be spun on its head and getting the one fighter that Spencer Oliver and I were calling for, and Ben Shalom on TalkSport last night, was Martin Bakole, and minutes later it's made. It was just an extraordinary turn of events, and it just goes to show that when Turki Al-Sheikh wants something, he gets it, and also he gets the right fighters in. If Joe Parker had just had a softer fight, people would have complained about the card, but he wants the best fighting the best, and massive respect to His Excellency, massive respect to Joseph Parker for taking such a dangerous opponent at short notice. And as for Martin Bakole, what courage. The soldier coming over from Congo and landing in the early hours of fight day. You just can't write this sort of stuff, Oscar.
Do you think Joseph Parker has a say in whether it was Martin Bakole or not? Well, it all seemed very quick. I know there was quite a lot of panic in the holding room from Andy Lee and team, and I could hear him continually asking some of the matchmakers and some of the kind of guys at Matchroom, we need an opponent. So I'm just wondering if you think that it's by the way, you're fighting Martin Bakole, or they're given a list.
Well, it sounded like in Coogan's interview with Spencer Brown there, that's how he found out officially that it was Martin Bakole. They obviously had talked about it before. We saw Joe turn up quite a long time before the press conference, and my guess is that, yeah, they knew about Daniel Dubois for several hours. They'd worked on possible opponents. We'd heard Lawrence Okole's name, David Adelaide, others. But, yeah, he would have known that was in the pot, but maybe he didn't know officially until that moment. But, yeah, Joseph Parker's great. He'll take on anyone. I think it was AJ or Alexander Usyk who'd been put in front of him. He would have said, yes, that's Joe Parker. He's found a real self-confidence and maturity under Andy Lee in the last year and a half or two. They really make a fantastic team. We saw that particularly when he beat Deontay Wilder. They just were brilliant that night, and I think he just feels he can do anything now, Joe, and that's wonderful.
He's fighting with a freedom because he's already been world champion. I know he is desperate and was desperate to beat Daniel and become a two-time world champion, but he's achieved the dream. He's made a lot of money. His resume is unbelievable. He's fought 4, 5, 6 of the top heavyweights of our era. Is there like a bit of a freedom that he's fighting with, perhaps?
Do you know what? That's a great point, that freedom for Joe Parker. I've talked to him a lot in the last few months, and he's got 5 kids now. He's in a different phase of life, and I think he really is doing this for himself. I think before he was doing it for maybe his country and for his family and people. I think he's actually on a mission for himself. I think he wants to prove that he can do it again, that he can become a world champion a few years on and in a different stage of his career. Everyone, I think, wrote him off after the Joe Joyce defeat. That's what happens. Heavyweights bounce back, and look how he's bounced back. Some great results. I didn't like, before the Dubois fight, a lot of people were saying Parker. What I didn't like was the fact that he'd been out since March, almost a year, and he was getting real momentum. I didn't quite understand why he didn't fight late on in 2024. So that was the only thing I was slightly worried about, the inactivity of that year. He's bulked up a lot as well. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out tomorrow night against a really big guy in Martin Bakole, and who knows what Bakole's going to weigh, because Billy Nelson says he's 60% fit. He hasn't started real camp ahead of his May final eliminator. So
I'm sure he lives like a king in the Congo.
I'm sure he does live like a king in the Congo, but he's a fighter and he's a warrior. Now, will he be, a step or two behind because of he's not fight fit? Will it be a much slower Bakole, or will he be incredibly threatening, dangerous, unpredictable? Maybe all of those things. It's curiosity, isn't it? It's an intrigue, this fight. I think if you'd made it and you said in 3 months' time Martin Bakole and Joseph Parker are going to fight, you probably put Bakole favourite. This time you put Parker favourite because Parker's the fit man ready to go, who's had a proper camp. But he has had a camp preparing for Daniel Dubois, not Martin Bakole, and we don't know what Martin Bakole is going to turn up. It's a strange one, but well done for Have Gloves Will Travel. Taking a fight, keeping himself in some sort of condition, and Martin Bakole's gonna do it. He says he's gonna shock the world. He's told us he'll fight anybody. I was sat with him, Oscar, a few weeks ago at the DAZN promotion, and we asked him what he thought about all the other heavyweights, really, and he said AJ 1 to 4 rounds, Dubois a couple. We said, what about Usyk? He said, he's a good fighter. I'll give him 6. So he thinks he knocks everyone out, so he'll believe he can just walk through Joe Parker as well. And maybe he's got that natural strength and ferocity to do that. He looked like a throwback, didn't he, against Jared Anderson? So let's see what he turns up with. But you've got to fancy Joe Parker to get the job done, just because of what he's done in the last 3 or 4 months, I think.
Yeah, that left uppercut against Jared Anderson on the way down, for me, one of the shots of the year. On to the Floyd Scofield Shakur Stevenson story. So you talk about the madness that goes on. I do quite enjoy the buzz when everyone's there and news is filtering through and you're looking at your phone, you're looking at this. But the Floyd Scofield stuff wasn't as instant as the Parker stuff. It kind of built up through the week. Shakur was adamant that this guy would never get in the ring. The dad made some outrageous claims. And then we see a video of Floyd Scofield in hospital. A strange 48 hours for that story.
I wasn't here, so I wasn't close to it. I got in later and heard. Surprised, because Floyd Scofield, I know, was super confident of of tackling Shakur Stevenson. It was his big night as well, undefeated. I think Oscar De La Hoya was surprised at the way it unfolded. But again, I said it earlier, if a fighter is ill and he's been signed ill by doctors or by the British board or whoever it was, then that's it. If you're in hospital, you can't fight. And whatever led him to hospital, I don't know. And with Daniel, we think it's a viral infection. We don't know. We're not the doctors. We're just told the information. And on the information we get, Floyd Scofield's out, a new opponent's needed. So all of this stuff about should he have been in the ring, Shakur didn't think he'd turn up, that's all mind games to me. Let's deal with facts. The facts are he was deemed unfit to fight. For whatever reason, you shouldn't be in a ring. You know, we had a tragedy a few weeks ago, and we want to keep this sport as safe as we can. And Shakur Stevenson and his team can believe what they like, and Floyd Scofield will have his say down the line. But if he's ill and he needs to recover, that's it. And it's cold here. There's a lot of flu going around, I think, generally in the winter months. Who knows what happened? Fighters train long and hard, and they want to fight. The other thing is they want to get paid, and they don't get paid if they don't fight. So there's normally reasons for it. If somebody pulls out a fight 2, 3, 4 weeks before, maybe there's something. Maybe they're not mentally right, or maybe there's a cut in sparring or something. But to pull out on the week of a fight when you've gone through all the hard training, that's illness to me.
Yeah. The main event, round 13, begins in just over 24 hours.
Can't wait.
Bivol, Beterbiev, Bivol now. So good. The first fight was brilliant.
It was.
Can the second be as good? Can it be better?
Rematches, some say, are better than the first. Sometimes they say they can't quite get up to that level. Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera's first fight, unbelievable. Diego Corrales, Jose Castillo's first fight. Jose Luis Castillo and Corrales gave us a barn burner that first fight, didn't they? One of the best fights I've ever seen. Maybe the best live. And then. You get rematches which just don't. The second fight there wasn't quite as good. You look at Wilder and Fury. First fight, good. Second fight, very different. Great in a different way. Rematches are odd because they know each other. They've shared 12 rounds together. So is it round 13? Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley recently in Saudi. I mean, that lasted a round, so nothing like the first fight. It's strange. We just can't wait to see it. We almost wanted round 13 back then. We wanted it to continue. It was so good. I can't wait for this fight, Oscar. It's a rematch that happens quickly, within 4 months. Very unusual. And I expect it to be as good. I think that it will be slightly different. I think Dmitry Bivol will want to stand his ground a bit more. And I think Artur Beterbiev will want to start quicker. He's always a slow burner. He knows the engine comes in and the power's always there, but I think he won't want to let Dmitry Bivol get in that sort of rhythm and run away with it a little bit like he did first half of the fight last time. So I expect a better start from Beterbiev this time, and I expect Bivol to stand and trade a little bit more. So it could get interesting, and who knows, we could have a knockout this time around. But I tell you what, one thing we don't know is who's going to win. It's that close.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you had to pick, does this go the distance? Because I know, Beterbiev has actually said I wasn't 100%, and I know Dmitry Bivol said the same. But now Bivol has felt some power, has felt some punches. I'm just wondering if perhaps it's kind of a banker that this fight might go another 12.
I mean, both of them have got phenomenal chins, of course, and they're elite fighters. We remember when Callum Johnson back in Boston put down Beterbiev. So they're vulnerable. They're not invincible, these guys. But normally when you put the two elite fighters together and mix the best with the best, it normally goes 12 rounds. They're that good. There's a huge amount of respect. There's a chess match. But that's what we got first time around. And I wonder this time if we'll get something slightly different. More pockets of fire. And who knows? Maybe then, one of them, Artur's getting on. He's 40 now. Dmitry Bivol certainly felt that power last time. But I think also Beterbiev felt the power. I think they both did. Now, that could mean that they have a little bit more respect, or it could mean that they know the other can be hurt. And I hope it's the latter, because I want to see a few fireworks in this fight. And I think it could be more entertaining. The first fight, for the connoisseur, just brilliant, watching their dancing feet and the hands and the judgment at a distance. This one, I think we could have some more fire in this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like Usyk Fury. It's the round 9 that you revert back to when you talk about them kind of standout moments. Beterbiev mugged Eddie Hearn off a little bit yesterday. You give me opponents, I beat them.
Brilliant. Absolute genius.
He's a man of few words, but he's a man of good words.
I mean, you've got to remember that these guys' first language is not English, and there's lots of jokes that maybe go over their head, but also they're smart guys, and I like the back and forth with Eddie and Arta for a while. I love the pajamas and all of that sort of stuff, but what a line to come back with. I mean, it was a line that made Frank Warren really laugh, and it made us laugh up on the stages watching the press conference. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was possibly the line of the week, although I think maybe Zhilai Zhang's given us one or two as well.
Yeah, Zhang hasn't done badly either this week, has he, with some of the little bites that we've got. I know there's loads of stuff to talk through from the whole card, but obviously you've got things to do and we can't sit here all day. But the DAZN broadcast team?
Yes, very
Saturday
excited.
Night, right in the mix, right as close to the action as possible.
Absolutely, I was really honoured to be asked last time for Usyk Fury 2. I was opposite Turki Al Sheikh, His Excellency, on the ring apron. I mean,
and he's animated during fights.
I just love being ringside, as you know. But I touch the apron, and I don't mind where I am, what level of shows I'm on, 6-rounders, 8-rounders, but there is something special about what's happening here, and to call the the heavyweight fight between Usyk and Fury, and to do the same for DAZN on Saturday nights, I'm really appreciative. I really feel great to be back. After the long time I had out with the cancer and the recovery, and it's been tough times, and it's really nice to be asked to come back and do things. TalkSport have been really good to me, and DAZN have asked me to do this, and I'm really pleased to be here. They're a fantastic team. I'll be delighted to sit down again with Darren and Barry. They're fantastic. They're wonderful commentators, co-commentators. It's a great broadcast team I'm joining. I'm just a part of the team, and I'm just really thankful and grateful to them for asking me. And I'm really excited about the whole card. I'm a fan like you are. I love Virgil Ortiz against Israel Madrimov. I think it's a terrific fight. I think all of them are. Zhang and Kabayel. Can't wait for Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. Looking forward to seeing Mo from Saudi and Manchester, and everyone on there. It's great. Shakur Stevenson, standout fighter. What can Josh Padley do? It's his chance. Can he at least go in and give a great account of himself? I'm sure he'll do his very best. And and then of course with Bakole and Parker, we just don't know what's going to happen. So lots of unknowns, lots of twists and turns. As you said, a roller coaster fight week, and now we get what we all came for. A terrific fight night, the last crescendo, wonderful, top to bottom. Very excited about it. Hope the voice holds out, and hope we all have a great night.